This is new video. Look at this, just obtained by NBC News. It shows Alec Baldwin during the filming of Rust, days before that deadly on-set shooting that killed the cinematographer, Halyna Hutchins. This video shows Baldwin walking through a shooting scene, speaking with the film crew about safety.
Now, wait a second. If I'm going to shoot right, you want to go on the other side of the camera? I don't want to shoot toward you.
So involuntary manslaughter charges against Baldwin, you'll remember, were dismissed a couple of months ago, but a New Mexico grand jury is expected to decide soon whether charges should be refiled. Joining us now is Bob Bianchi, criminal defense attorney and host of the Law and Crime Network. Good to see you. So this is something that would be admitted to the grand jury, and what impact would it have?
Well, let's start with the fact that as a former homicide prosecutor, I have never seen a case as tortured, twisted, and bizarre as 2 years later. We're back in the grand jury again. We have charges dismissed. We're back in the grand jury again. So from a prosecutorial standpoint, this is very, very sloppy. To your point, the prosecutors are going to argue that the fact that he knows that in this particular clip that you're showing, that get people out of the way, not to point the gun in the direction, even if he thinks it's blanks, shows a level of recklessness by not doing it on the day that the victim is shot. On the other hand, defense attorneys are going to be arguing that the prosecutor's theme for the last 2 years, as we've gone through this circuitous, twisted route of prosecution, is that he was not concerned about safety, but that this clip actually shows that he is, in fact, concerned about safety, and to support his theory that the gun misfired and that he did not pull the trigger, this shows that defense will argue that he was being cautious about this. So, guys, I mean, the bottom line to this entire thing, from a prosecutorial standpoint, is why are we 2 years later, with all the investigative resources and powers that we have as prosecutors, finding video that was right on a camera? Why wasn't this information given to prosecutors? Why did they not seek it earlier on? It's complete amateur hour. And just from the standpoint of justice and fairness, this prosecution is really a mess.
Honestly, that was my question. Why is it such a mess? What is there like a short version of why this has been such a mess?
Well, let's start with the fact that one prosecutor had to get thrown off the case because there was a conflict of interest, that they were in the legislature and acting as a prosecutor, which is a no-no. Then you start with the idea that they then go in with the grand jury and charge him with a charge that had not been law until after the incident. So you can't charge somebody with a new law. So I really can't tell you guys. I did this for half of a career as a prosecutor, ran a prosecutorial agency. I have never seen prosecutors go into a grand jury and indict somebody for a charge that didn't even exist at the time of the incident. And 2 years later, now we're getting information that's basic things that you would have gotten on day one. That is the film that we're looking at right now. I just think it's complete and absolute malfeasance, and I think defense attorneys are going to have a field day if this case gets indicted in front of a jury. They're not only going to have a very good case to argue here, but they're going to make the prosecutors look like complete fools.
Bob Bianchi, thank you.
My pleasure.